All right, guys. So this is my third gen personal / work rig. This used to be the dedicated rig. So actually, I had to use it recently because I had some transmission problems with my big service truck. So you can see one box usually bolts down here. Had these boxes custom built, and I'll show you those in a minute. My custom one tailgate. Another box. This one, as you can see, is a bit shorter. I had these custom built for a way I had the truck set up, and then I added actually another one. Fortunately, I had just enough room to put another box here, and I can show you that in a minute. And cord reel. This used to be, I think, a DeWalt. Got it from my father-in-law. It was in a barn for a few years. Had a bunch of sheep crap in the intake when I found it. I actually got it running by putting a new engine on it. Predator, I don't know what that is, 6.5, somewhere there. 212cc is what it says, but anyways, got that, had that. Had it plumbed up there. Had this custom fuel tank built. One of my buddies does a lot of fab work. I get him to do anything I can have him do. So I actually built this for a hydraulic tank, is what originally it was for. Have a obviously I run a heavy equipment service business, so originally that was a hydraulic tank that I had on this truck that I was using for hydraulic fluid because I wasn't doing a lot of fuel stuff, a lot of hydraulic hoses and things like that, small stuff. So I had like a manual pump set up on this, and then eventually I actually went to, between me running the big truck and me running this truck, I actually worked specifically for one customer at one point running his machine. And so, you know, had the custom boxes with all the tools in it, decided to run this as a fuel tank, bought a really nice gooseneck for it. And yeah, this thing doesn't do much, runs me around town. It's kind of the backup rig, goes to church on Sunday like this. And that's pretty much the main thing it does. Obviously you can see my camera's cracked. So I mean, it looks fine out here, but you get a little bit of a glare in certain lightings. So this is a North Star short blade single wheel truck. So actually these are kind of custom lights I found on Amazon. The regular lights are the normal ones. You can see that these back ones are red, these are amber, or that one up there is amber on each side, but these are all red. And there's two different style lights, and I got the recessed ones. I've got the protruded ones, come out a little bit. They kind of glow in a halo. I'll give you a look at that here in a second. 3-inch hitch, 18,000 pound. What is that? 2.5? No, whatever. Gooseneck ball. And she gets me around. So again, this is kind of what started the business in it. I had a shop at the same time. And so we ran this for the field service stuff and have a gooseneck so I could haul up, you know, machines back to the ranch, or right back to the barn shop and work on them there. So another thing is this truck actually is NV5600 swapped. I bought a second gen off my father-in-law, and we tossed after we had some transmission issues. By we, I mean me. Had transmission issues. I wanted to bulletproof it, and it was actually cheaper. I bought this trans for $2,500. No, I bought the whole truck for $2,000. Pulled the trans out of it, sold it for $2,500. So I made $500 on that, plus about $1,000. It was less than $2,000, I think. And I want to say it was like $600. And adapter plate. I think I did I think I did the same flywheel. The flywheel out of the second gen worked for the starter. And then pedals, and it already had a south bend dual disc and a south bend hydraulics. And so we manual swapped it, and I actually had to pay one of my buddies who runs a diesel repair shop here in Blanco to finish this as I was in college at the time. So I did that. See, last year I did some Thurin parts up front. So I did do some regular ball joints, some cheap ball joints, but I also did, everything else is high quality. So I've got Thurin sway bar, Thurin coils, I see part number there. That coil kit, I don't remember what they call that kit, but that's with the Fox shocks, the Thurin, as you can see in there, the Thurin Fox shocks. I do have the Thurin high clearance control arms and a Synergy steering kit, as you can see down there. The Fox steering stabilizer and Thurin track bar. I do have a PSC box up in here. It's their big bore PSC box. I think also if I did probably new hubs and good ball joints, good quality ball joints up front, this truck would drive a little bit straighter and probably decent tires. These are the Venom, what are they, Terra Hunters. I think those are RT Pluses is what it says. Don't even know if they make these anymore. They're loud. They were cheap. I don't think I have 10,000 miles on this, maybe 20,000 miles on this setup. I really kind of doubt it. But those are 33s with the Rough Country 20s. So 33 1250 are 20s on the Rough Country 20s. I don't know what model these are. You can find them on Rough Country. Actually, they might not even make these anymore. I don't know. Rough Country came out with some wheels. Tent setup 5% all the way around. And then I think this is 20 or 25 on the dash, on the windshield. It is dark. My wife gets sick in it. 2 reasons. Because it's a sloppy 3rd gen. Even with all the steering upgrades, it really does ride well for a 3rd gen. She gets sick because it's so dang dark. She can't see out the windshield while I'm driving. And it's a manual, so you're getting jerked around a little bit. Let's see. Up front, I just did this Laramie sport bumper. Bought it off Partify, I think is what it was called. So it's a Laramie or sport bumper, whatever, without the chrome. I think it was less than $500 delivered, unfolded. It wasn't even folded. It was great. So just factory LEDs with a, I've had these for probably 5 or 6 years now. These just clear Amazon headlights. I think they were $100 or something like that. I did try to put a brow on them. It looked good at the beginning, but you can see they're yellowing and not ideal. But I don't try to spend a lot of money on this truck, although I do have like $6,000 in suspension. Truck does have bags. I do have a controller for it. But originally, since I was running that compressor every day, I got this idea from my brother-in-law. There's your air chucks for your bags. It might start raining here, so we might have to cut this video short. It is a short flatbed, so there's not a bunch in these boxes. I think I have some brake clean in this box. Again, not even 4 weeks ago, less than a month ago, I was running this truck. So I've had my other service truck for a year, but like I said, we had transmission issues. So as far as the interior, it is still dirty. It was, when I got it in 2018. I got a really good deal on it. Paid $7,000, 206 on it. I think 206 or 203 on the dash. And, but it hadn't been registered. I think the sticker said 2016 because he was using it to run around on his ranch. So these are powered. They're more like, I would call them like Lone Star or Bighorn seats. So they are driver's seat powered, but I don't actually have them wired up. I got them set up where I wanted them. The truck is dirty. You can see under there, maybe past the napkins and donut trash. There's a Scar. I think that's a 1500 amp, either 1200 and 1500. I do need to get a new one because one of the RCA's broke off in there. Right now we've got 296 on the dash. I did like this placement. This is what I did with my controller. The horn is actually my airbag kit. You can see there. That's a airlift kit. This is up. You can hear the compressor go on. This is down, obviously. I usually try to keep around 50, between 40 and 60 pounds in this thing, unless we're hauling. Let's see. You see the pedals, brake controller, whatever. Again, this was a factory center console truck. For a long time, I did have half the business console in here, and I got these cup holders right after I got, the manual swap done. So I've had these forever, I guess I did this in 2019. I did the swap in 2019. So I've had this cup holder and obviously the stick shift since then. And this last year, I put in a 4th gen console. I do not have it wired up. I also don't know what's in here. Just some paperwork, stamps, it looks like. Truck is dirty. Again, I used it for the last month and I just haven't cleaned it since I used it. I do have a Milwaukee, like 12 volt battery leads. And so that's how I got the seat set up where I like it. And this is for my rock lights. I actually used this to control the on and off for the controller. Aux is my fuel tank. This is the front light bar. This is the rear light bar. Front light bar needs to be replaced. And then, let's see what else. We got ourselves a Boss. That is a BE10ACP.X. It is a Sirius XM unit. That's what the .X is. The reason I got it is because it has lighting under the bottom. Let's see here. It'll come on here in a second. So when I got the truck, originally there's a light actually up under here. I don't know. It actually might not be in here anymore. Where is it? I don't know. In the business console, you have a light there that shines on your cup holders, and I really like that. The 4th gens have them up here where they shine down, and it just gets really dark in here with all the tint. So I actually wanted this light, or these. I have one in my service truck too, and I tried it out in there, and I really liked it, so I tossed one in here. It is a double DIN unit, and I had a single DIN unit in here, so there's some gaps and stuff, but overall, this is a fantastic unit. I had to make sure, I had to end up calling support. I had some wires that you have to plug in different places, depending on what truck you have. And so I got it working. I love it. Again, with this being a manual, this was necessary because I didn't have a Apple CarPlay unit. And so having an Apple CarPlay unit in a manual is fantastic for navigating. Being that this is a 10-inch screen, it's fantastic. And navigating and hands-free calling, this has been the one of the best investments I made. So again, as you can see, 4th gen seat swapped. I'm going to show you the back. I don't know if it's actually set up good. Again, truck is dirty, but I got these for cheap. Usually these are like $1,000 for a set of these, especially with a driver powered seat for a set of 4th gens. I think I got these for like $200 or $300. So even 600 would have been about right, but getting it for $200 or $300 was amazing. So I do have a set of subs in here, just a set of kicker comps or whatever they're called, 10-inch subs wired in there, and I have one on each side. So this thing kind of bumps. I really like how low this gets compared to the Scar 10-inch that I have in my other truck, but it is what it is. You make do with what you got. Again, trying not to spend too much money. So I think that's it for the interior. Let me pop up the hood so you guys know what we're looking at under there. One quick note while we're going there. I do have a set of Whirly custom fabs. As you can see, I also have a air dog system with a sump. So Whirly custom, welded on track bars, sump, air dog. Another shop for the underside again. I did paint this last year, or actually once I got it done. The wiring's not the best. The rock lights aren't anything expensive, but they do justice. It's nice at night when you're in the field working. You can have some light on your feet. As you can see, there's a shot of the LEDs. Again, the truck's not perfect. I did buy it with 200,000 on it, so it was already deleted. But I have done a couple of things. I did a battery cable kit, which is actually really nice. I think it was batterycables.com or something like that. I did a factory turbo swap probably back in around I think it's fall of 2020. The same day I figured out I had a blown head gasket. So we did head studs, Fleece Performance, head. I think it's their basic reman or maybe just upgraded valve springs. I don't really remember exactly, but there's the part number if you want to look it up and tell me that I'm wrong. So I did a compressor on here, cheap one from eBay, cheap. Actually, I think I did this. This is actually from Napa, I think. And S&B intake. I don't think there's anything else I've done to this thing specifically. I think the fuel system's actually all stock. I do want to sell this truck at some point, as much as I'd love to keep this forever. The quad cab's not ideal for a family. I do not have kids yet, but me and my wife are wanting to get there at some point, and we're just trying to set ourselves up financially, and as you can see, that rattles. Set ourselves up just for that process for the future. We're just also trying to set ourselves up financially in general with the business going, and with a truck we don't use. I did refinance this a couple of times. I'll be fully transparent. I bought this truck for $7,000. I actually got the bank to write me a $7,000 check, and I called the guy and said, "Hey, dude, I know we said $7,500, but I just realized I went to the bank and got a $7,000 check. Are we still good?" And he said, "Yeah, no worries, buddy." And every once in a while, I'll change something up, and I'll send him a picture and just tell him, "Hey, look." And he's real happy that I've kept the truck and loved it just as much as maybe he did. I think I probably loved it a little bit more so far, but there's always things I'd love to do to the truck, but at the same time, I really would like to move on to a mega cab, or at least a crew cab. I've been looking at a couple steel bodies, 6.7 Power Strokes, a couple early Lumina duties, but I'm trying to stay under 30, considering I don't drive this truck. So, wife and I have talked about, what does that look like? How does that benefit us tax-wise, and the business benefit us tax-wise, and how does it financially benefit us to where we're not stuck with a major payment on something that doesn't get used? So ultimately, I did haul a lot with this truck there for about a year, back in 2022, 2023, about 9 months that I was hauling heavy. I was putting 18 to 20,000 pounds on my gooseneck. I do have a Diamond C HDT, I think is what it's called. It's the tilt deck gooseneck, and it's rated for 20. So I was probably, say I did have 20 on the trailer. I remember 20 between the trailer and the truck, or trailer and that. Well, this truck weighed at the time probably 8 or 10. So really grossing 30,000 pounds with a 2,500 is not the most ideal situation. So that's part of the reason I want to move on. We live in the hill country, so getting up and down these hills is not the best. As I've already seen with I had warranty on my service truck Trans until October of last year. Trans has probably only had 20,000 to 30,000 miles on it, and already having issues with it. So anyways, I'd love to move on to an F-250, something that's geared right, or I don't haul heavy like that much anymore, maybe once every 6 months for one specific customer that I'm hauling from job to job for him, just because he's a good customer. I mean, obviously I charge him and I make money off of it, but I just like to help him out. And I love hauling, I really do, and it's fun. And I have a beautifully expensive gooseneck that doesn't need to just sit. So I'm trying to think of anything else. Obviously, I'd love to repaint the truck. This fender is yellow. It's turning yellow. It's very dull. Hood's dull. Dents everywhere. But I don't think that's going to happen before I end up selling it. I wish I would have kept the factory bed, but through some unfortunate circumstances, I had to get some money back on some things I had. So trying to think of anything else I'd like to share with you guys. Obviously, I got this idea from my brother-in-law to run a tailgate bar that you'd run under your tailgate up there. I like it. It's very unique. You know my truck when I'm coming. And a lot of people know this truck around town, and it's going to be really hard to see it go. But at the same time, what's best for the wife, what's best for the family, what's best for everybody is what's best. And so sometimes we just got to do that. Let's go check out the boxes, and then we'll call it a video. Now, so I haven't done a video in a while. Holy crap. I didn't realize how windy it was. Sorry about that. I was walking up to show you my boxes, and I'll show you what they're sitting like. But I haven't done a video with these boxes, I don't think, in a while. At least I haven't put it on YouTube. And I actually have some really cool videos of me using the boxes. I just don't want to go back through and try to find all that. So I'll show you the first one. The boxes were sitting on top of this utility bed, but we had some hail come through for about an hour last night, and the wind was crazy. So, you know, one box, this is the passenger side box. Originally I had like big wrenches, my Milwaukee grease gun was here, had some blow mold cases with like miscellaneous parts, press parts or things like that. And then die grinders, air tools were over here because my air reel was on this side of the truck. And then this box actually is supposed to stand up this way, I believe. Yeah, you can see the shelf is like that. So that other shelf obviously is fallen. I should have probably done a video on this before I took the boxes off the truck, but I wanted to get the truck clean. Well, at least in the other shape it is in, which is in the cruising shape, like I would call it right now. Obviously, I had some lights wired. I didn't show you that, but they're not wired up anymore, obviously, because they're not on the truck. Obviously, this is the driver's side, and I had these set up to where they'll slide like that. And all my sockets were here. I had like my Allens and some miscellaneous stuff there, drill and stuff like that. Electrical parts were in there, and Milwaukee stuff was there. So I had ratchet, impacts, screwdrivers, hammers, I think. Actually, screwdrivers, picks. That was hammers, punches, things like that. So, yeah. So, as you can see, the truck isn't perfect. And as I've said before, I'd like to move on. But I wanted to document this, get you guys a video out. That way, I can see the progress on where we came from. So, keep an eye out for next video, which is going to be a shop tour. It's probably still not filmed the best. It's probably not going to sound the best. It's probably not going to look the best. But you know what? It is what it is. Just kind of want to get some content out there, you know, have for the long haul. As my life changes, as the business changes, and as everything goes on, you know, maybe the content goes somewhere, maybe it doesn't. I'm not really worried about it. I just want to have it out there to where I can see the progress as we go, and I don't lose touch of these in the cloud somewhere. So I think that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Again, this is my 3rd gen. Love this truck, and it'll be one of my first loves, first trucks, and it's going to be a sad and hard one to see it go, and we'll see if we get rid of it. If we don't, we don't. But for now, I think that's going to be it. Thanks guys for watching. Catch you in the next one.